All right, I'm going to do the sound check. All right, sound good. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushai, Hashem, Kakodash. Honors to the apostles and elders of Great Stone who rule well, and shalom to the brothers in the highways and byways, especially this word north and sincerity and truth. The sisters and believers, it helps. Shalom. This is the brother Arawam from the James Jamaica camp, and just want to do a quick lesson, right? As the title says, the joy set before him, right? And this is from this book of Hebrews, chapter 2, sorry, Hebrews 12, chapter 2, right? And I'm just going to get a few definitions from this precept. And God willing, this is quick and to the point and yet also edifying, right? So this is Hebrews 12, verse 2 says, looking unto Yahushua, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and is set down at the right hand of the throne of the Most High. Right? And that is the thing. Yahushua, basically, he said, for the joy, for who the joy that was set before him, right? And that shows how much the kingdom is going to be glorious, how the kingdom is going to be a constant happiness, constant joy. It actually show how valuable the kingdom is. Basically obtaining salvation is basically the greatest thing on the face of the earth. Because when you look at it, he endured a lot of shame, right? A lot of grief, as also the men of the Lord, as the scripture says, the servant is not the Lord himself said the servant is not greater than his master. So yeah, we're gonna endure things, we're gonna suffer things just as the Lord Yahweh Shai, but just remember that he said for the joy that was set before him. So we're supposed to look endure this walk as something joyful, because it is something joyful. Not many people have this truth, not many people have this wisdom and the mercy and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, right? Yeah, a lot of people carnally, them out here in the islands you have people that go on the overseas whether they do farm work or a few programs, and because the currency is a lot better than our local currency, some people go for like 6 months, some three, and usually we tell the Jake out here them not really do that two jobs something and they work 16 hours a day and all them, so Jake not do them thing they out here, but they will endure that for them 3 or 6 or 2 months, however long the program lasts for, we get that extra cheddar. And at the end of it, we say, look, it was worth it. As much as it takes a lot out of them actually tell you that it's worth it. Now, how much more the salvation of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, how much more the kingdom of heaven. It's supposed to, when you really look and weigh the balance, you're supposed to see the outcome of it all, right? You have several parables of the Lord saying that the kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man that found I think a pearl or a treasure in a field and sell all that he had just so he can buy the field. Why? Because the treasure that is in the field would worth more than everything we already have. So when him actually buy the field, him have the treasure and him get more than we actually lose. And that is how we supposed to look at this truth. You know, the gain is far more better than the losses, from spiritual standpoint, a physical standpoint, a mental standpoint. Everything is secondary to the glory and the will and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. The ultimate salvation of our people and receiving all the blessings that are listed in Deuteronomy 28 chapter, right? So sorry for being a bit long-winded. We'll get into the definitions of the words. So reading the scripture again, Hebrews 12 verse 2, it says, looking unto Yahweh, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and is set down at the right hand of the throne of God. Right? So the first word we're going to look on is the word joy, right? As a matter of fact, I actually didn't look up the word, the phrase set before either, right? So let's look up the word joy, and I'll play the Greek word. right? That's the Greek word, and it goes into joy, gladness, the joy received from you, the cause or occasion of joy. You know, when him understand or sin, because he understood what the kingdom of heaven entailed, and all that he will we will be actually receiving and the benefit, and basically the gift that would be given of him of his father, as it's saying in the Psalms that look, sit down, sit down at my right hand till I make all my enemies thy footstool. You know, the glory that cometh, that the you know the that consolation, for lack of a better term, was very joyful. They'll be like, hey, you can't do anything for this. And if you truly understand what Yahweh Shem Yahushai have promised for us, you would have the same mindset. And yeah, easier said than done, because we know this flesh and it's a daily fight. And it's like, hey, it rough at times, but having your mind on the kingdom, having your mind on all that we will be receiving, it actually helps get you through. Hey, the Lord never just leave us without telling us what we will be getting in return. You know, right? Going for the root word for this for the word joy as well, and I'll play the Greek also. It says to rejoice, to be glad, to rejoice exceedingly, to be well, to thrive, in salutations, hail, right? So basically, it's something to rejoice exceedingly about. You know, if you really compare what you have learned since you come into this truth compared to the common man, you like rejoice exceedingly. When you see what the Lord have promised to the elect, you'll be exceedingly glad that hey, you've been even called to this truth. When you really see what we're supposed to gain, you're supposed to be exceedingly glad, regardless of what you're going through. That's why the scripture say, "Oh, for the joy set before him," right? And let's look up the phrase or the Greek for the phrase set before him. It says to be lie or placed before a person or thing, or in front of, to set before, the place before the eyes, to lie in sight, to stand forth, to appoint, to destine, to be there, to be present, to be hand. But the key is for the definition for to be placed before the eyes, right? As it says in Second Ezra, said that you know, um, what's that scripture? Let me actually get it real quick. Second Ezra 6, real quickly, Slakia for the wait. Second Ezra chapter 6, 7, right? Um, and verse 9, it says if this city, well, then again, let me just read from about verse 6. It says Second Ezra chapter 7 verse 6. It says there's also another thing: a city is builded and is set upon a broad field and is full of all good things. The entrance thereof is narrow and is set in a dangerous place to fall, like as if there were a fire on the right hand and on the left a deep water, and one only part between them both, even between the fire and the water, so small that there could but one man go there at once. If this city were given unto a man for an inheritance, if he never shall pass the danger set before it, how shall he receive this inheritance? Right? And I said, it is so, Lord. Then he said unto me, even so also is Israel's portion. So that is the city that is set before us. New Jerusalem, basically the salvation, all the gifts and the blessings of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. That is what is set before us, and we have to go what through that narrow path. It's set in a dangerous place, as a precept has said. But guess what? Because it's full of all good things, we count it joy to go through this perilous path to obtain that which is set before us through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. right? So yeah, the joy is also set before us, and that is the mindset that we need to have once we put in towards the truth on a daily basis. You know, remember the prize, keep your eye on the prize, as they say in the world, right? Um, Looking up the next term, uh, endured, in the Greek as well, right? The second definition on the point is at A. It says to preserve, to persevere under misfortunes and trials, to hold fast to one's faith in Hamashiach, right? So he held fast to his faith in to the Father Yahweh, and we supposed to under the misfortune and trials, all of the things we go through on a daily basis, plus the things which are to come, you know, the famine, the war, the RFID chip, you know, the persecution, all these things we have to hold our faith fast and persevere through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, right? B, the definition for B says to endure. He said this is the key point: bear bravely and calmly. And then there's the term ill treatments. So yeah, we're gonna be ill treated just as how Yahweh Shai was ill treated. Them spit upon him, you know, them blindfold and box him and say what? Prophesy who strike it thee. Them mock him on the cross, you know, them do all type of things. Even when he was alive, them scoff at him. Them try to kill him. Them try to trap him in them words. Them do all them things, but guess what? Him endure it, right? And it says to be bravely and calmly. A brother a while back had a quote that was saying that patience is not merely just waiting, but your attitude while waiting. So if you're waiting, you cannot wait and murmur and complain all the time. You just have to know that look, this is the situation, just humble and wait. Because at the end of the day, we can't do anything of ourselves. Everything is through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, right? We're going to read the first definition once more. It says to persevere under misfortunes and trials, to hold fast to one's faith in Hamashiach. So yeah, because of the glory or the joy that is set before us, that motivates us, you know, to hold fast the faith in Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, right? Because as we say, we know that it is a rough part, but we will persevere, right? Let me check if there's anything in the root. Um, right? Let me play the Greek for the second root word, right? And B says in reference to time, to continue, not to perish, to last, endure, right? And then it says in reference to state or condition, to remain as one, not to become another or different, right? So you can't be a different person under the persecution. If you say, oh, I'm under the Lord, you have to be a man of the Lord through thick and thin all the way through. You have to go through till the end, as the scripture say, oh, he that endure it unto the end, the same shall be saved. So perseverance and and endurance is necessary. You know, you need to persevere, but as I say, based on the joy that is set before us, it actually helps, right? Now we're going to look up the word despising as well, right? The Greek word for despising. It says to contempt, despise, disdain, to think little of, or to think little or nothing of. Right? So scripture said that what he despised the shame, meaning that he thought little of it. Because what he knew what he was going to get in the end. And that is the mindset that we need to have. You know, hey, if whatever we're going through in the daily life, just suck it up and keep moving. Because at the end of the day, we know that the glory is greater. That's why, you don't care what people say, you don't care what people think. From you know that you're on the right path and you're actually serving your Yahweh Shai, hold fast to your faith and keep it moving. Regardless of what the gainsayers and the naysayers them say, just keep on pushing. Because at the end of the day, it's your salvation. At the end of the day, it's between you and your Yahweh Shai. Because when the Lord come for judge, we are going to tell him, say, yo, say, oh, some people that talk bad about me, or this day happen, or me they suffer this, or me they suffer that. But what about his righteousness? He's not going to hear no excuse. So at the end of the day, we just think of this as nothing, and we say, oh, the joy that is set before us, we know what we're going to get. So, hey, do them best. Because everything we will lose upon this time, we'll get upon this side, we'll get it better in the kingdom and more. Right? Next word, let me verify real quick. Was it on this one? All right, just a quick second. Let me verify something. All right, that was it on that word. Let's look at the word shame as well. Play the Greek. Right, it says the confusion of one who is ashamed of anything, sense of shame, and it says ignominy, disgrace, dishonor, a thing to be ashamed of. Right? We're not going to be ashamed of, yo. What? Righteousness is not a bad thing, yo. The majority have something to be ashamed of. You don't make the sense to be ashamed of righteousness. If the Lord say, oh, he that deny me before men, him shall I deny before the Father. Right? Hey, them are the dishonorable sense, dishonorable people, yo. From Esau on down to two-thirds of our own people. Them are the one who not serve you how about Hashem Yahushai. Them are the one who not consider the words of the Most High. So them have something to be ashamed of, not us. Right? Looking up the Greek. It says to disfigure, to dishonor, to suffuse with shame, make ashamed, be ashamed. And we look up the word suffuse, it means to gradually spread through or over. So there's a lot of shame that is actually spread on Yahweh's name, and even how they dealt with him before he actually went on the cross. I listed some of them earlier. Hey, them beat him, them scourge him, them put nail in him hand, them put nail in him foot, them put a plate at them put a crown of thorn on him head. Them deal with him very shameful and very disgraceful. But guess what? He took it as nothing. How much more the things in our daily life? And how much more the things which are to come. The Lord got through it. So hey, we all got through it too. But remember that it's a joyful thing. Remember what we'll get in return. That are the joy part, yo. That are the joyful part. You just bite the bullet and pay the price now. That come like you get a full expense a full vacation paid, yo, to be probably Hawaii or one of them places them even better. Right? And the only thing they have to do actually work one day without pay. Just one full day of hard work without pay. Because really and truly what we're going to get, we're not even as Paul say, our light affliction. You know? The things that we suffer compared to what we'll get in the time to come. So just remember the joy that is set before you or set before us. So that will help you to endure and persevere to the end. That is what the Akim should remember. And as I said, I hope that this lesson is exhorting. I hope it actually lift your brother's spirit. Hope it was edifying. And once more, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Makakwadash. Remember, honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. And shalom to the brides in the highways and byways pushing this word now, sincerity and truth. The sisters, the believers, the helps. Shalom.